I am stuck
on Band-Aid brands because Band-Aid's stuck on me.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Leap of Faith. I am Freddie.
I am Will.
And today is the start of our series, Putting God in Relationships.
It's just us today, isn't it?
It is just us. Originally, we were supposed to have two people, but they couldn't make it.
It is snowing profusely outside.
That's a big word.
It is a big word.
What? Where'd you learn that?
Both my English classes, because I'm in two.
Profusely. Profusely?
Don't ask me to spell it.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Today we're talking about putting God in relationships like dating or marriage.
So this is actually our episode 1 of our 3-week series we're doing on this. And so today we are talking about couples and marriage and significant others.
Yeah. So we got the verse of the day, and that is 1 Corinthians 13:6, which says, "Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth."
That's a really good verse.
It is, and I think it goes good with what we're talking about because it talks about how love does not correspond with evil. It doesn't, it's not, there's just no evil in love, It rejoices, it has truth, and it's just love.
So when you read that, it brought me, instantly my mind popped to 1 John 4:18.
Yeah. Which
is, there is no fear in love. Perfect love cast out fear.
Yeah.
And so I really like that verse.
That was a good one.
That one's really good for me. So when it says it doesn't...
does not delight in evil?
It doesn't delight in evil. It doesn't condone it. It condemns evil.
Get out of here, evil. Nobody wants you. We all love the truth.
I have been reading the Bible a lot on love.
That's good.
Just because it's an important concept to me.
It is.
And so I came up with 6 keys to a healthy relationship and this is a mixture of important role models in my life who have told me about it and books in the Bible.
Let's get it.
So the 6 keys we have are, you have to have faith, accountability, trust, honesty, love, and commitment.
Yes.
Communication is also very important, but
communication is key.
Communication is key.
Yeah, so
don't forget communication. But these are the 6 I came up with through the Bible.
So I have a question. What are some things that you could do to put God in your relationships?
Ooh. So for me, one of my favorite things to do for that is I will work on homework with worship music playing in the background.
Oh, yeah. I got that worship music.
I love worship music. It helps me concentrate.
Yeah. Some of that elevation worship.
Yeah, you hear that, Mom? I do my homework.
Yeah, at least one of us does.
Oh, Freddie. It's definitely Freddie.
Okay, yeah. All right. Some things that I do, actually I'm starting to, I'm not gonna lie, I did not do most of these. I'm now starting to do them, and it's gonna be really great.
Yeah. So
I'm going to mention my girly friend, Skylar.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, we both like to worship at church, and we both, we kind of separate from each other when we worship so that we're, our mindset's not on the other person. We're
not
just
distracted.
Yeah, we're just spending alone time with God, just chilling, and we're like, "What's up, God? How you doing?"
Which
good,
is
man.
Sometimes easier for you because you're sometimes on stage.
Well, yeah, but when I'm not on stage, we just like to go over there. We have our little space where we could just go and worship without thinking, oh, what if they think I'm being weird because I'm jumping around.
So let me ask this. Yeah. So that's what y'all do in church. What do y'all do outside of church to bring God in your relationship?
All right, I'm going to tell you, but I'm also going to give you some steps that you could do. All right.
And these aren't steps that you have to follow to put God in your relationship. These are just stuff that we do to help us.
Yeah, and anybody could do it. So okay, for example, if your partner does not value their relationship with God like you do, just help them out, just pray with them, read the Bible together, even worship. Like I said with me and Skylar, we not only can you go away from each other and just have that alone time with God, you guys can also worship together, which is equally great because you are praising God with the love that He gave you guys.
And so, we're gonna pause on that for a second.
Yeah.
When he says like help him out a little bit, you can. That's great. Help him out. But don't try to force religion
don't force
on him.
them. Don't be like
we can't be together because you don't love Jesus.
Okay. We're like, yeah. So, yeah, just don't try to force them.
I have a story about that. When I first moved up here, I became really close friends with a man I met, and I did not know until a few months ago he is a atheist.
Ooh.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And our relationship did not change, but now when we talk about stuff, it's a little more. We bring it to a little more philosophy.
Yeah.
So we literally sat down. We had a conversation about like what he believes and what he doesn't believe, and what I believe and how I feel like this works. And our relationship didn't falter because is falter a word?
I have no idea at all.
Probably why I need 2 Englishes.
Probably.
Falter. Yeah. Start a petition to make that a word if it's not a word.
Yeah.
Because of our difference in religion.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I dig it. All right. So both partners should take some time apart, well, they don't have to, but it's good. And, just be alone with God, it's pretty nice and calming to be away from distractions and just be there to worship God. And here are the steps that you can do. Remember, you don't have to do these steps, but it's great if you do.
I'm going to add something real quick. One of my biggest things I used to do is I used to come to church and act like I had all my poop in a group. And so I was like, I'd always be like, yeah, like you need to do this. You want to get closer to Jesus. Like, don't do that. Like,
don't do it.
In order to lead someone in faith, you have to be strong in your faith.
Yeah.
You can't, like, one of my biggest things is like, I don't like hypocrisy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no.
And so like, if you're sitting over here like, hey, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
And then like, don't drink alcohol. Then you turn around and go get drunk every night. Like,
yeah, can't. No.
No one's gonna listen to you.
Exactly.
That just makes you look like a liar. And so, if you're not like, I'm not saying you're gonna tell kids don't go drink and then go home and drink. Like, I'm saying like, if you are struggling with something, or if you're not super strong in your faith,
yeah,
like it's gonna sound a little selfish, but work on yourself a little bit before you work on others.
Yeah. Lead by example.
I knew my pride was a huge issue, and I hated like I didn't talk about my feelings with anyone just because like it's weakness. Like, God, we're guys, we don't talk about that stuff. Like,
no tears, boys don't cry.
I was trying to help people with stuff, and I realized I was broken in those areas. And so, before you try to fix someone else, fix yourself.
Yeah, that was good.
Words of wisdom with Will.
Yes, William, that was good. Actually, that was really good. All right. Back to the steps.
Yeah.
So things that you could do are, this is a little thing that I'm going to be doing with Skylar, and it's pretty great. And I feel like it's a great way to have God in the center. So what you do is you could give each other a Bible verse that you think would go well with them or encourage them or just help them out in their day-to-day lives, or whatever you want to do. Just, give them a verse. And so the goal of this is you have to memorize the verse, but not only do you have to memorize the verse, you have to go into the word and actually try to understand the verse more as you go into it. So like, instead of just reading it and memorizing it, actually read the Bible and get into that word and just kind of understand why, you were given that verse and just understand God's love. And I feel like that would be a great thing to do. And 3 days later, you guys meet up, say your verses without looking, obviously, because you guys got to memorize that. And just talk about what you guys learned. And I feel like that would be a great way to put God in the center. Another thing you could do is pray together, take some time, meet up, and just pray. Like, thank God for the day. Just spend time with God together. And, just sit there and pray about anything that's going on in their lives. And that's another great way to put God in the center. Yeah. Those are what I've got.
That's awesome. One thing that I always found problems with in relationships is, I'm gonna get deep for a second, is lust and temptation.
Yeah.
The temptation of it. everyone everyone wants to be held. Like, who has been sitting there and just been like, you know what, I'm happy being single? Absolutely no one.
No one.
No one
I
has
guess
ever
some
said I'm
people.
happy being single.
Some people probably, but not
Unless-
all of them.
Unless you're the Bachelor. In that case, you
Okay.
get like 30 pretty girls to come fight over you, which,
Yeah.
eh,
This is not an ad for The Bachelor.
no, it is not. Or Band-Aid brands,
Oh, yeah, that too. We've got to mention that.
even though we need Band-Aids.
We do. It's a great thing. All right.
So, yeah. So, anyways, temptation is, and we're actually going to do a podcast pretty soon here on temptation.
Yeah.
But temptation in a relationship is just a different monster.
Ooh.
It really is. Like, it's one thing to sit there and want something, but temptation makes you go out and actually like
Like you can't
pursue
control it. Yeah.
And so, like, it's tempting to order a 20-piece from McDonald's instead of a 10-piece because you're really hungry, but you
Yeah.
got that budget.
Exactly.
And so,
You get it. Now you can't pay rent.
yeah, for real. Like, now you can't live because you wanted an extra 10 nuggets with your dinner.
Exactly. And another thing, if you guys are ever in a relationship and you guys are struggling, just during conflict and hard times, which will happen,
Yeah.
pray to God.
It should happen. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have
At least like
not fights, not
yeah,
fights.
don't fight. But like if
no.
you can disagree on a lot of stuff.
Like, disagreeing is healthy.
Yes.
Like, if you're always agreeing on stuff and always like happy, like, it's not gonna be a long relationship.
Yeah. You're just like
You strive off controversy.
Exactly.
Like, I know it's cheesy, but like, ever since you were little, you've heard opposites attract.
Oh yeah.
That's
my
an
gosh, yeah.
actual thing. Like, if we're sitting there, we're
Exactly.
just like, now you want to be the same in your faith. Like, don't get me wrong. But like, if you're sitting there, like, me and Chris were having a conversation the other day about the Old Testament versus New Testament.
Yeah.
And we disagreed on something. So instead of us looking at each other like, hey, we're not talking to each other anymore, like, we live together.
Yeah.
How's that gonna work? I'm coming up for dinner in 10 minutes. No, we sat there and we had a really long conversation about it and why we both thought that way, and we both still think the same way, but now we just
You have a
respect each
deeper
other's opinions.
understanding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know where the other person's coming from, so that makes the conversation a lot easier to I was taught put yourself in the other person's shoes.
Yes.
Like, I know where he's coming from now, so it's good.
Exactly. When you're ever in conflict, just pray to God and ask for advice on how to handle it. And yeah, you could go to therapy, but there's nothing like going in a room with no social media or the outside world and sitting and just talking to God and asking for help. And I feel like that goes great with a story that we're actually going to talk about. But there's a verse that I feel is great for this, which is Daniel 2, verse 20 through 22. And this is from the Easy Bible because I can't read. And it says, "Praise God's great name forever. He has great wisdom and great power. He makes things happen at the right time. He gives to some kings and the authority to rule. And he takes the authority away from other kings. He causes some people to become wise and helps people to understand things that they need to learn. He explains difficult problems and secret things. He knows about all things, even when they are in dark places. He himself lives in the light."
That's really good.
Yeah, it just talks about how God, he knows everything, all right? And he's obviously, who's going to give the best advice? The one who knows everything, or the one who doesn't? The one who knows everything. Come on, just ask God for advice, pray to him, just seek his love and his knowledge and his wisdom, and he'll help you out.
Yeah.
All right, and the story that I feel goes really good with this is the story of Hosea and Gomer, which Hosea is a prophet in the Bible, and it says that God asked him to go out and marry Gomer, which is a promiscuous woman. She's goes with many men, I guess you could say. And he put faith in God, and God held him accountable to go out and do what he was told. And he went to go and marry this woman, and they loved each other, but she would always find herself in the arms of another man, and he would always catch her and be heartbroken, and it broke his heart, seeing how that she just cheated on him, and God still told him to go back and get her because, just put faith in God, and put your faith and trust in God. And with God's wisdom and his amazing power, he, Hosea brought Gomer back into his life. And I feel like that's just a great example of what we just talked about, because not only did did they have a struggle in their relationship, God fixed their struggle and brought them back together, and they both had faith in God. And another thing about this story is that Gomer represents us, like us as people, and God is Hosea. So he tries, he has a relationship with us, but sometimes we just drift apart and we go to other things, and he always chases us and comes back to us. And I feel like that's just amazing.
That's a great, because God held Gomer accountable.
Yeah.
By telling him, like, hey, go back to her.
Yeah, that was Hosea.
Hosea, sorry.
Is right.
And then Hosea trusted his faith enough.
Yeah.
To
actually go back.
Trust him.
Yeah, and just go with it.
And so that's really.
Yeah, that was technically all 6 keys of a relationship.
Yeah.
Faith, he put faith in God. God put accountability on him to go back to her. Mm-hmm. And he trusted God. And honesty, like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, whoever's listening. I just hit the mic. For honesty, like, he, God was honest with him. Like, yeah, she's promiscuous, but go after her, okay? And he was like, all right. And now they're honest. And with love, they're in that relationship, and you got to have love in a relationship. And
this
with commitment, he committed to God's word and his love, and he did what God asked him to do. And he stayed committed to Gomer even after, she cheated.
But cheating's not fun.
That's not fun. Don't do that. If you're in a relationship, don't cheat. That's not good. Don't do that.
By the way, when I said it's not fun, not that I would know. Like, I've never done it. I said that and I instantly regretted it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just bad. Don't do it.
Yeah. It's not trustworthy.
Yeah. So that is it for the first episode of our series.
Today we have covered faith and accountability.
Yes, we
have.
The
first 2. Next week will be on trust and honesty. Yes. And the third week will be over love and commitment.
Yeah. So,
worship song of the day is
drum roll, please. More of You by Colton Dixon.
Yes, I love this song.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And yeah, so it goes well with this because it talks about how we need more of God and less of us. We need to go towards God.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's a great worship song. It's really catchy too.
It is.
So yeah. I'm Freddie.
I'm Will.
And we will see you guys next episode.
Bye.
Adios.
I made my castle tall. I built up every wall. This is my kingdom and it needs to fall. I want you and no one else. Empty me of myself until the only thing that's left is my you. Resonate, make me who I'm meant to be. You're all I need, you're everything. Take it all, I surrender. Be my king. Gotta choose more of you and less of me. I need more of you. This life I hold so close. Oh God, I let it go. I refuse to gain the world and lose my soul. So take it all.